So, if you guys remember last time I talked about the Powerpuff Girls card and the creator so happened to come into my comment sections and show up. Shout out to the creator, of course. Now, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and talk about the Cartoon Network category. I'm going to slowly work my way down this list. So, I'm going to make multiple parts to these videos. I'm gonna do like a Cartoon Network 1, and I'm gonna do a Cartoon Network 2, so on and so forth. Because we already talked about the Powerpuff Girls, we're not gonna talk about them again. Today we're gonna talk about the Ben 10 as well as the Robin leaders. They're both 200% leader skills, just like the Powerpuff Girls. No, the Powerpuff Girls aren't. Excuse me. The Powerpuff Girls are a gold coin LR leader skill, so they're not a 200% leader skill. It's just the Ben 10 as well as the Robin. So we're gonna go and start out with talking about the Ben 10. Shout out to Ben 10. Pretty dope show back then. So, wielder of the Omnitrix, Ben Tennyson. His leader skill is Cartoon Network, Defenders of Justice, and Transformation boost 3 key and 1 7% across the board, as well as his 30% stats being to crossover and youth. His leader skill just makes 100% sense. It just makes a whole lot of sense. He stacks attack and defense, and he starts out with 3 key and 200% attack and defense to start turn. He gets additional 80% attack and defense performing a super attack, which is nice because he's already stacking attack and defense. So additional attack and defensive buff on super from his passive that's going with his stack and attack and defense for that turn is very, very nice. And you guys know how I feel about the attack and defensive buff from a passive to the super attack effect. Even when they're stacking, it just makes it so much more better. As well as this unit being able to launch additional attack that has a 30% chance to become a super attack, and he has 50% damage reduction for this one turn for start of battle. He foresees super attacks for free, and he gives all allies 3 key and 50% attack and defense, which is completely monstrous. And his transmits condition, he transforms on turn 4. He transforms into forearms when your HP is between 80% and 100%. He transforms into Heat Blast when your HP is 50% to 79%. Between it, of course. And when your HP is 49% or below, you transform into XLR8. So already out the gate, Ben 10 is looking quite good. He is a strong support type unit. He foresees super attacks for free. He has damage reduction for that first turn, so he can get his stacks going immediately. He can launch additional attack, of course, that has a 30% chance to become a super attack, which means that he could triple super, provided you have the luck. But I still think that's good nonetheless. He gains an attack and defensive buff also from his passive to a super attack effect, which is very, very good. And he starts out with a nice sufficient amount of attack and defense. 200% attack and defense with 3 key is quite nice. And he has prepare for battle too. I like that. It just makes a whole lot of sense. I mean, Ben 10 is prepare for battle. Like, he is the most prepared for battle. Just, this looks about right. And he comes out, look at that, Halloween of 2023. Entropy. Hey, I'm just saying, Entropy. Let me see his stats. He is a TUR. Yeah, he is a TUR. Wow. High defense and lower attack on the lower attack. Okay. So with that being said, let's go on over to forearms. And this guy gives you like STR Super Boo vibes with this transformation condition. Forearms. He, of course, has his super attack effect change and his passive changes, as well as Link stay the same for all forms too. So, forearms. He gains 50% attack and 30% defense one turn and seals. He also starts out with 3 key, 250% attack and 200% defense, so he's gaining additional 50% attack inside the swarm from his previous swarm from Ben 10. He also gains 100% attack and 50% defense when performing a super attack. He also launches 2 additional attacks that have a 50% chance to become a super attack, so he could do a quadruple super attack. This guy could be quite damaging, considering he's getting that 50% attack on super for that one turn, as well as this additional 50% attack just transforming into this specific form. He also guards for the first 3 turns and gains 40% damage reduction just unrestricted for the entire battle, and gets 50% attack and defense when he receives a hit in battle. So that's definitely going to help him out. So damage reduction, additional super attack, and just that he has additional super attack chances. I mean, he looks like a offensive slash defensive unit. He's a two-way unit. That's what I'm seeing here. Because he does have 2 powerful defensive abilities to fall back on. One that's temporary in that guard of 3 turns, and one that's going to be for the rest of the battle with that 40% damage reduction. But he does have to super attack first, for sure, to look defensively sound. But other than that, I think forearms are looking quite powerful. Let's go on over to Heat Blast. So Heat Blast. He gets 50% attack and defense one turn. He gives all allies on that turn 20% attack and defense, which is obviously a powerful super attack effect. He also starts out with 3 key and 220% attack and defense to start turn, so he gets additional 20% attack and defense from just going into this specific form. Because remember, Ben 10 starts out with 200% attack and defense, and if you go into forearms, it's 250% attack and 200% defense, so nothing really changes on the defensive end. And for Heat Blast, it's additional 20% attack and defense when you go into this form. He also gets 50% attack and defense when performing super attack. Let me check Ben 10 real quick. Yeah, Ben 10 gets 80% attack and defense performing super attack. Forearms gets 100% attack and 50% defense. So he's getting additional 50%. No, that's not additional 50% because he gets 80. So he's getting additional 20% attack inside this form. Yeah, this guy's your two-way monster. Literally monster. Look at him. So back on over to Heat Blast. Heat Blast gets 50% attack and defense forming super attack, so he basically loses some attack and defense on super because Ben 10 gets 80% attack and defense forming super attack, and this guy gets 50% attack and defense forming a super attack. But I'm pretty sure there's some strong additions to his kit here. That's basically 30% he's getting chopped off, but he does have a 20% right over here. He also gets 40% damage reduction for 3 turns and gets additional 30% damage reduction when he's in the first slot. Okay, so for those 3 turns, he's going to be sitting at, what's that, 70% damage reduction? That is good, for sure. That is good. He also gets additional 30% attack and defense, up to 120% attack and defense with each attack performed, which is obviously nice, and nullifies beam type supers, powerful of course, and it gives all allies 2 key and 20% attack and defense. So when this does wear off, I think that this guy can possibly get cooked. Yeah, he could get cooked if this wears off, when this 40% damage reduction for the 3 turns wear off. But other than that, he does have a dual support type thing. He has a dual support type ability coming from his passive to his super attack effect. Yeah, because when he supers, from his super attack effect all the way over to his, excuse me, I don't know why my mouse did that. When he supers, he's going to give the entire rotation 20% attack and defense right over here and 20% attack and defense right over here. So he's basically giving the entire rotation 2 key and 40% attack and defense. Okay. Do remember that fights do not last that long in this meta, so I think he'd probably still be okay. When that damage reduction does wear off, it could hurt, but I feel like he'd probably end the fight before it can even happen. Nullifying beam type supers is obviously powerful. It's a 100% chance from this guy too. And of course he builds up attack and defense. Yeah, this guy is probably the worst so far. Probably, is he? A dual support type unit that has 70% damage reduction and builds up an attack defensive buff. But he does lose that attack and defense forming super attack. He's good. Heat Blast is good, but I think that Forearms is definitely better. I'd probably say Forearms is better than Heat Blast, although he is helping out the rotation a lot. It depends on what you like. If you like an offensive/defensive jug, which I could definitely see in this guy, you're going to go ahead and go with Forearms. But if you do like the support type ability, with the damage reduction, that could possibly wear off. It's like this guy has damage reduction for free over here. Yeah, he has damage reduction for free. All right, let's go on over to XLR 8. So this guy gains 50% defense for 3 turns and starts out with 3 key, 150% attack, and 250% defense. So he's getting additional 50% defense, but he loses 50% attack when going into this form. He also gets additional 50% defense performing a super attack, so he doesn't get attack from performing a super attack. He also launches 2 additional attacks that have a 30% chance to become a super attack, and he gets 10% defense with each attack dodged within the turn. He also has a unconditional 70% chance to dodge, which is great, and he gets all allies 3 key and 50% defense, and he foresees super attacks. So XLR 8 is the best one. Yeah, this guy's easily the best one, for sure. Strong card. I'd probably say I think XLR is the best. I think Forearms is the second best. And then Heat Blast, it's just that damage reduction wearing off. It's that right there. That's kind of catching me. But I feel like you can possibly end the fight before that wears off. But other than that, the nullification of beam type super is just 100% is nice. He builds up attack and defense. He does have to sit in the first slot to get his damage reduction, which could be a little annoying. But I think Heat Blast is good nonetheless. I think he's 1, he's 2. And then this guy's 3. Strong Ben 10 card. I love Ben 10. Gotta love him. When I was a kid, I was never the craziest on him, but then like over time, I was like, damn, he's actually pretty cool. I fuck with Ben 10. I fuck with Ben 10. Okay, so next up is Robin. Robin is Cartoon Network and Bond of Master Disciple 3 key 1 7% across the board, and his 30% stats is to crossover and Earthbred fighters. Makes a lot of sense. Bond of Master Disciple? Yeah. Batman. That guy. Okay, so his super attack effect. Also, do note that this guy is super attacking. I mean, it makes a whole lot of sense because the Omnitrix, literally green. I mean, green pants, green Omnitrix. I mean, green everywhere. My favorite color, by the way. So Robin releases in November 30th of 2023. Okay. So super attack effect. He gains 50% attack and defense in 1 turn and greatly lowers attack and defense. So he has a good super attack effect. He has an entrance animation, as well as him getting 100% attack and defense and 20% damage reduction for 3 turns when there's another Cartoon Network's category ally on attacking on the same turn. So he does have a great entrance animation buff. He also starts out with 2 key and 180% attack and defense to start turn. He has a unrestricted 30% damage reduction, which is good. He also launches 2 additional attacks that have a 30% chance to become a super attack, which is good. He also builds up attack, defense, and crit chance from 20% attack and defense up to 100% attack and defense, and 10% crit chance up to a 30% chance to crit. He also gets additional 20% damage reduction when he's done the 8th attack in battle, and he gives his team that he leads 2 key and 40% defense. So Cartoon Network category allies, 2 key and 40% defense. What is there to say about this guy? This is powerful. Teen Titans link. He has a Teen Titans link. Interesting. So he has Prepare for Battle, Hero, Brainiac, Experienced Fighters, Infighter, Teen Titans. Interesting. So, just like I was saying with this guy, he's pretty much looking good on both fronts. He's pretty much looking good. Yeah, I would say so. He's kind of reminding me, he's like a better version of Forearms, pretty much. Because on the offensive end, he has 2 additional chances to do a super attack. He has a strong super attack effect, I would say. He has a strong interest animation buff. He can build up additional damage reduction when he does that 8th attack in battle. It's like, yeah. And he builds up attack, defense, and crit chance right over here, which is directly supported from his additional super attack chance additional super attack chance as well as additional attack chance. I don't know why it was weird for me to say that, but yeah, it's like he has damage reduction here, he has damage reduction here, and he has damage reduction here, and he's a support type unit, and he builds up very easily. Yeah, Robin's good. Robin's looking pretty good. Imagine being able to use this unit inside Entropy. I'm just saying, Entropy it. I'm just giving y'all ideas. You be picking up what I'm putting down? All right, but I think that is really about it. I would say Robin, powerful. Ben 10, powerful. But yeah, I appreciate you guys watching. You guys are the best. There is going to be a part 2, part 3, part 4. We'll see. Peace.